Hey, what's up, guys? Toogie here, back again with another episode of my Ottawa Senators franchise mode series. And today, we get this team set for the 2020-2021 season. There's a lot of 20s in there. We left the last episode with a few questions. The main question being, how do we set up the NHL team? In terms of skill line, and then from there, do we go skill line, defensive, physical? What do we do with the fourth line? And judging off of your feedback, this is the lineup that we are going to go with. The top line being a skill line of Fiala, Borgstrom, Stone. Second line, Jost, Duchesne, and White. Yes, Jost and Duchesne's player types, or not Duchesne, but White's player type, have been changed. We'll see how that works out. Third line of Gusev, Brown, and Ronning remains intact. And that brings us to the fourth line, the defensive, physical grind line of Nick Paul, Zach Smith, and Gabriel Gagne. Now, as far as players that are outside of their current role, the only one really is Zach Smith in terms of being on a lower line. Everybody else is where they should be. Which brings me to how I'm going to look to move forward with this team, where if we're not going to be getting the most out of certain players and their development, I'm more than likely just going to trade them. So Jason Robertson, for example, with his low top six potential, morale isn't on, but depending on who you ask, some people say, well, they just play him on the top line in the AHL and it's fine, which I agree with for morale purposes, but in terms of progression, I don't really feel like it helps them all that much. And it's not a major person to get rid of. I did something similar recently in Nations United, or A Nation United. So I'm thinking guys like Robertson, Batherson, Masherin, and Hlapik are going to be on their way out. And of course, we have numerous defensemen that we need to get rid of. This line, or this team, isn't completely set forward-wise. I need to sign two better players than Selleck and Werik to be in the lineup full-time. But defensively as well, this is what it's looking like with Stillman and Lajoie, Shea, Sandin, Tychonik, and Leopold. Of course, we also need to sign a backup goaltender, because depending on who loses this battle in the preseason between Stuart Skinner and Philip Gustafsson, they will be traded, because again, no point in playing them in the AHL. We'll just try to get the most out of their value now. Before we get into some of these initial trades, because admittedly I haven't scouted this out just yet, I did want to say about the Henrik Borgstrom signing. There were some people who were unhappy about it, and I get that. But here's the thing. It's another one of those catch-22, damned if I do, damned if I don't situations. If I don't offer him a deal, some people are going to be like, well, what the hell, you had the cap space. If I do offer him a deal, if I offer him a reasonable deal and miss out on signing him because of that, I'm going to have the comment saying, well, what the hell, Toogie, you have all this cap space, use it. If I do what I did, well, that was kind of cheap. You had all that extra cap space to make sure you could get the deal. You see what I mean? So it's one of those things where bottom line is I was going to have comments that disagreed with how it went down. The bottom line is Henrik Borgstrom is on this team. He is our top line center. Whether or not he stays, though, is still up in the air. And also, to the thought of trading for Lafreniere, probably not. And also, my drafting ability. I never said I was great at drafting. In terms of the last player, me saying he was probably going to be low top 9, that was exaggerating. I still expected him to be low top 6, because how many times have I drafted someone with that high elite potential that has ended up being low top 6? Almost every time. At least that's what I remember. Maybe I just remember the negative moments more. But with that said, I just wanted to cover that. Let's get down to business. Again, we have a list of prospects that we are going to be looking to trade. And in terms of finding teams, to make out a deal with, we are just going to rely on the trade block so that we can maximize the trade, the trade values and the things that we can do. And looking at Anaheim, Tim Ribeiro. I don't like the last name of Ribeiro, but I suppose it is an option. Kovanov, Comtois, Morand aren't terrible, but they're not really great either. In terms of the values here, I was tempted to just go overboard with draft picks. I mean, Skinner and Gustafsson. Skinner has a little bit more value at this point just because he's younger. Of course, we still have Kadri there. Tomek will be the AHL starter. I can't sign Reagan, or I can, but there's no point because I can't send him down to the AHL. Albrecht might be worth signing. I might be able to send him to the AHL. I'm not going to bother. Wells is someone who can be sent down, but he's a 61 overall. We're going to be ditching him here as well. So looking at these values, you know what? I might be able to make this work, actually. I might be able to make this work. So looking at Anaheim here. So we have low top sixes there. Nobody on Arizona. Boston has Sasha Mutala and Riley, who is way out of our price range, but Sasha Mutala might not be. He would be down in junior for the rest of the year, which is fine by me. I don't really want to help Boston get better, but that would be a solid trade for us. Mutala's looking like a pretty strong prospect. I could kind of screw them over by sending them Wells. We would have too many skaters, though, so of course we'd be adding an extra guy into this deal. Who could I add? I mean, again, any of these guys like Tramkin, Rykov, and Mellock, if they're good enough to play in the NHL, they would totally screw me over in the playoffs. I can guarantee it. We'd run into Boston at some point, and they would make me pay for it. So let's look elsewhere. We know Anaheim works. Calgary's looking to sell the farm right now. So Brody, Toffoli, they ended up with Toffoli and want to trade him. Go figure. Chicago, nobody. Colorado has Peyton Krebs. And that is the type of player I'm looking for. I have never used Peyton Krebs or Kirby Dach in a series. Very intrigued now to use either one of them, seeing, the changes that I've made to the overalls and the potentials, of course. So let's say we tack on Wells. Also tack on O'Sullivan. You're interested in Nikita Tramkin. So Wells, O'Sullivan, and Tramkin, we might be able to add a little bit more onto this in terms of a draft pick. Or I could go for Capo Kako, who I don't think will be half decent. So a third-round pick next year might be too much, but I'm going to try it. That is, in fact, too much. We'll try the fourth-round pick this year. Doogie, why are you getting draft picks if you're not going to use them? I never said I wasn't going to use draft picks. Yes, I don't use draft picks as much as I would in a series like Draft to Glory, obviously. But when I kind of know that I'm just going to be wasting the picks and I can make more, more reasonable changes ASAP, then yeah, okay, this might just go through on its own. Nope. Apparently that's even further away, even though I asked, I took away value from it when it said it was close, and now I'm further away. Is Valenti enough to go over the line there? It is. Peyton Krebs, welcome to Ottawa. So again, Nikita Tramkin is off the list of players. We used Wells, O'Sullivan. All right, so yeah, here, just let me take Nikita Tramkin off the list. Again, we are also going to try and move Bobby Ryan. So let's take a look at who else we have here. Columbus, I'm going to look for just Western Conference teams. Heinz, no thank you. Edmonton, looking to trade Milan Lucic. Shocker. The LA Kings, Van Riemsdyk. They ended up with TBR. Minnesota's trying to move Ryan Suter. Nashville with Mishmash. Again, I'm already using him in one series. I don't want to use him in another. Josh Brook is looking okay, but there's not as big of a reason for me to get him with our defensive situation the way it is. Matt Barzal, now I jokingly mentioned, now I am going to be going for Ty Smith. I mentioned a defensive logjam for Ty Smith. That's a whole different situation, though. They actually have some really good defensive depth there with Salo, Smith, and Gilden. Gilden as well is looking really good. I joked about maybe getting Barzal as well. Not going to happen. I mean, that would result in me having to pretty much trade Kevin Fiala. I mean, people were on, put it this way. Say I sim up to just before December, I could still leave room to do that if I wanted to. I probably won't because I don't think they'll sign him, but, I don't know. That's one of those up-in-the-air moves. So, what was your contract situation? Not looking good now. I know. Eastern Conference team. Eastern Conference team. I can't do it. I was thinking I could. I can't do it right now. I cannot trade any of these players that might come back to haunt me. St. Louis, Altar Barmakian and Dominic Bach. Tampa, no thank you. Vancouver, no thank you. Vegas, Tatar, and Winnipeg isn't shopping anybody. So we're kind of screwed. It's pretty much just going to be going for draft picks right now unless I pick up someone like Dominic Bach, which I'm not going to. So, let's do it. Let's move out players for draft picks. That's fine by me. So, in terms of those who are on the list defensively, again, there's a lot of players here. So, we're going to be looking to move out Wolanin, Harper, Jaros, Mellock, and Rykov that we just don't have space for. Is there any team, preferably in the West, that has a shitload of contract spots, and Winnipeg could work. Although some of these one-way deals right now are looking a little bit rough. They also don't want to trade anybody, but this isn't about really getting anybody back unless I have to take on a contract. I saw Jay Lupel there for a second too. Thought for sure it was Joffrey. It wasn't. You know what? For the hell of it. Can you take back a draft pick? Aha! Even with the red bar, this could still potentially work. So if I were to do this, for example, how close would we be to having a deal done? Not that close. What about a first and a second? Still not close because they don't want everybody. They don't want every defenseman. I was hoping to be able to try and pair their values. So let's go Wolanin, and we'll use one of the forwards. Again, Masherin, Batherson, Robertson, Halapik, or Bobby Ryan. They're not going to be able to afford to take on Bobby Ryan, so we'll try to use Drake Batherson, and we'll see how good of a pickup we can get here. I really wanted to use Batherson, but again, other players on the depth chart have just jumped him. That's all it comes down to. Second and a third's probably too much. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to try it. Case in point. How about a second and a fourth? How about just a second? They don't want Wolanin. That I can understand. That they don't want Christian Wolanin. That could be a little bit of a problem, and we could be stuck with him for this season, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but still would kind of suck. Do you have a forward who's getting paid way too much money for one season that I could just bury in the AHL? Ryan Callahan style? That is my question to you. Let's see, we have Dano, Kopp. Oh, you're all fourth line guys, damn it. Granted, I could just bury one of you in the minors because I wouldn't have to give a damn, particularly about value. Whose career do I want to ruin? Marco Dano or Andrew Kopp? That's the question. Would it even be enough cap-wise? I don't think it would be. Say I take back Marco Dano? No. Alright, this could be a little bit more problematic than I anticipated, which is fine. But you know what? We'll work out these deals. It shouldn't take all that long. And if it does, then hey, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was wrong. How would you like a nice, shiny Ben Harper? Harper and Batherson for a second-round pick? Yeah, okay. I could have gotten a little bit more back, but at this point, again, it would have just been a minor pick. So we'll take those two off of the list there. So Winnipeg gets some extra depth. We pick up their second-round pick, even though they're projected to be a pretty good team. Now, Anaheim, you also had a prospect or two that might be half interesting, particularly Kovanov, who is down in junior. The problem is you don't really have anybody available. You don't really have any contract spots available. Is there another team? Edmonton's not bad. Cap space-wise, they're in a bit of trouble, but we should be able to work out a deal with the Oilers. And then I have to figure out, when I trade Bobby Ryan, I'm probably going to have to trade him to an Eastern Conference team, but I've pretty much resigned to that fact, so it's not a big deal. Halapik, I hate to see you go, buddy. Masherin and Robertson, who was an out-of-nowhere pickup that the Dallas Stars did not sign. So, free value there. If I can work out a deal with Edmonton, which, in terms of draft picks, I'm not sure that's the way I want to go. Picking up Kyler Yamamoto would be tremendous, but again, he's in the same spot. Actually, as a depth forward, I'd be okay with playing him in the AHL. I don't think they'd be willing to give up, I don't think they'd be willing to give him up, but that would be one hell of a pickup to get Kyler Yamamoto here. Let me just see, for the hell of it. What if, would this go through straight up? No? Okay, well, it was worth a shot. Of course, the problem is they don't want three forwards, but these are the guys with the most value. So, Edmonton, again, if you're going to be slightly difficult, let's just go with Halapik, and then we look on the defensive side of things, and I don't know, who fits the bill for you? Wolanin? You probably don't want Wolanin because of the cap hit, but hey, we'll try. We'll do what we can. How would you like to give me? You have no draft picks, oh my god. Second round pick's probably too much. Indeed it is. I'm willing to tack on a pick or two here. As it is, we have 3 second round picks already. What if we give up the Vancouver 4? Still not enough. Probably pretty far away. We'll also give up the Vancouver 3rd just so I can get rid of Wolanin. Rejected. Shit. How much value does your second round pick have? You don't have a 3rd. That's the issue. Never mind, you do have a 3rd. What am I saying? Alright, I will take a hit on this just to get rid of him. How about a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th? from Wolanin and Hlapik. Just the third and fourth. Please, for the love of God, take this contract because I can't afford to retain salary. Just take the third. I'll give you Hlapik for nothing. Just take Christian Wolanin, please. Literally, I am selling Hlapik for nothing. Nobody, really. At this point, just take Wolanin for a seventh. I hate everything. I do. I hate everything. I will literally give you our seventh and Wolanin for a seventh. Just take his contract, please. Is it that bad? His contract is apparently that bad. Oh my God. Jesus, nobody wants him. Okay. Well, I guess you'll be the healthy scratch at the NHL level instead of me moving certain people, I guess? I don't even know how the hell we're going to do this. God damn it, Wolanin. So yeah, I guess Christian Wolanin will be the healthy scratch on defense, which is admittedly something I really hadn't thought about. I'd rather have him be there than Rykov or Mellock because at least he's minor league top 2. So yeah, we'll have Wolanin at the NHL level for this year. And then forward-wise, is there anybody worth keeping as that healthy scratch? I suppose if I can't move Bobby Ryan, that's the way to do it. I could have it be Shane Gersich, but that's probably not worth it. I'll probably just sign a forward or two to be healthy scratches this season. Because having Bobby Ryan sit there isn't going to be helpful. He will, though, if I have nobody else. And then Gersich is probably better suited to help Kravtsov just dominate the AHL. So I'm thinking that's how it's going to go. So Wolanin, in fact, can stay. What do you know? Surprise, surprise, that worked itself out. See, things change on the fly. Plans change on the fly. So we have 3 defensemen, 3 forwards, and 4 if you include Bobby Ryan. So let's see, the 3 defensemen. So I'm thinking it'll be 4 more trades here, hopefully. So we'll go Rykov and Masherin, just because they're both at the top of the list. Who can afford to take on these players? Winnipeg, we already kind of took your picks. Is there another Western Conference team, preferably, that can take these guys? The LA Kings. I love LA, but do they love me back? How would you like to give me a second-round pick? And 2/3 is way too much, but I'm still going to go for it. Will that go through? Yes, it will. How about a second and third? Still no. How about a second and a fifth from the LA Kings? Just a second. Oh God, once we get to a third, again, them not wanting to trade the pick is really screwing me here. Edmonton. How about that second round pick, Edmonton? What do you say? Good old PDC. You know you want to do this. A second and a third. I could get more from Edmonton. Of course I could. How about a second and 2 third-round picks, Edmonton? I'm going to keep saying the word Edmonton. God damn it, Edmonton. A second and a third. A second and a fourth. Is that enough? A second and a 6th-round pick. For the love of God. Just a second. Alright, well, apparently I'm overjudging their value. How about 2 third-round picks? There we go. So apparently I wasn't going to get that second-round pick no matter what the hell I did. So Rykov and Masherin are gone. We need another eligible team here, preferably in the Western Conference. That is not going to happen unless we make a deal with Winnipeg, which we will try to do. So let's take a look. We're going to go Robertson as the forward and Mellock on defense. And what can we get from Winnipeg? I'm sure, you're looking for a cup run. You don't have much cap space. This would be a solid addition for you. That first-round pick would be great for me. A first and a third is going to be way too much, but will it go? Oh, my God, it went through. All right, well, I'm good with that. We get Winnipeg's first-round pick. It might be late, but a first-round pick is a first-round pick, and I will take it. The final minor league trade is Christian Jaros. Jaros. I never knew for sure. And Hlapik, as we're going to look to send you perhaps to Winnipeg as well, because you have the contract spots to do so. How would you like to give up your first-round pick next year? You no longer have the contract spots to do so. I'm okay with making this trade with Pittsburgh. I don't think either will make the Penguins roster. First-round pick is a little bit too much to ask for. However, I'm really going to go in for that pick. So let's see. So we have 2 firsts, 3 seconds, 4 thirds. My God. What if I give up the Winnipeg third? So Jaros Hlapik and a third for your first round pick? Still not enough. I'm a little bit surprised. What if I also go in with the Edmonton third? Is that enough? Thank you, Pittsburgh. I will gladly take that. So, all that is left to do is a whole lot. We have to try like hell to find somebody to take on the contract of Bobby Ryan. And Lord knows what the return would be. Pittsburgh's interested. They can't afford him. That's the first step. Is someone interested, and can they afford them, or afford him? And so far the answer's been no for basically everybody. I will trade him to whatever team. Conference does not matter. Although it's looking like we're going to have to take back somebody with roughly a $5 million deal or so to make this happen. So who has a $5 million deal or so that also still has their first round pick, although Pittsburgh could work out. So who do you have? Hornquist? Yikes. Brian Rust. I could take on Brian Rust for a year and have him be the healthy scratch on offense. That wouldn't be too bad. They can't afford that, though. That's the unfortunate thing. Let's look at Tampa. Of course, they'd turn Bobby Ryan into an absolute monster. Jake Dotchin isn't going to happen. And Anton Strawman. There's a bit too much value there. I have no need for Anton Strawman. Let's take a look at Toronto. Can we send Bobby Ryan to the Leafs? Tyler Bozak is still there. Mike Camilleri's there on an awful deal. All right, what about Bozak? So Bozak works. Right. You know what? I need 2 healthy scratchers at the NHL level. Bozak and Camilleri. They're perfect. They're literally perfect. I'll take both of them, as opposed to signing free agents. I will take that salary cap off of your books and give you Bobby Ryan. So really, I'm not taking the salary off of your books. But still, Bozak and Camilleri. We'll take Bobby Ryan, who's probably better than either of them. He flat out is better than either of them. He just makes a lot of money. So I will gladly take Bozak and Camilleri off of your hands. The question is, do you have anything? See, I don't know, like a first round pick or so? I doubt that goes through. No, it doesn't. It's way too much. They don't have any mid-round picks, though. Like, they're not going to trade the second round pick next year. I'm trying to think in terms of how to construct this trade. So again, you get Bobby Ryan, you get a better player than either of them at this point in time. He makes a boatload of money for the next 2 years. I mean, really, from Toronto's perspective, how much sense does this make? I mean, plus, the issue is that they don't want to trade Bozak or Camilleri. So value-wise, it doesn't make sense for me because I'm not going to be able to get as much back. I really need it to be someone with a god-awful contract that they're looking to move. And that's going to be pretty tough to find, especially with it being a team that actually, is looking to sell. Oh my God, David Krejci's contract. Please don't tell me it's going to look that bad in real life. Please. Buffalo might work. Buffalo might work. We're finally getting those type of players here. That has to be, that's Rick Nash. So we could take on Rick Nash for the season. Take on Rick Nash for a year. I'd have to trade Bobby Ryan within the Atlantic. Calgary? Who do you have? I mean, do any of these players have, a very low trade value? The answer is no. So I'm still leaning towards Buffalo. Still leaning towards Buffalo. Let me look here. Skaters matching block. Got to be something. Not even skaters matching block. You can't tell me Chicago isn't looking to move anybody. Apparently they're not. Okay, I learned something today. Colorado. There's got to be somebody, right? Like somebody else other than Buffalo? I'm not taking on the Lucic deal. That's not happening. Goligoski or Petrovic? Petrovic might work. Petrovic would work, and we could send Bobby Ryan out to Florida. That's not bad. Take on Petrovic, have him and Wolanin. They don't want to move picks, though. Oh, boy. That's where it gets to be problematic. That's where it gets to be problematic. All right, Florida's not going to work. Florida is not going to... I mean, I'm not surprised that they don't want to move picks, but still, it's kind of an issue. Manning, that's not enough. Sutter, that's too much, or Suter, I should say. I'm used to seeing Sutter. Merkley, DePenta, Kirby, Datch. You know how much I'd love to get Kirby as well, but I don't think that's going to happen just because of Montreal's cap situation. Palmieri, Boychuk, Kronwall, Zajac. All right, that could work. New Jersey. So we take on Travis Zajac for the rest of the year. You take on Bobby Ryan for the next 2. So if anything, I mean, we're getting you a better player. So far, you're getting a better player for the sake of taking the cap. This trade is about even in terms of real-worldness. Like, just for the love of God, get us out from underneath this contract. Again, though, they don't want to trade any picks, which causes a bit of an issue. Because the player we're looking to move isn't that great in general in terms of trade value. Daniil Gushchin's there. Oh boy. This is the issue. I'm trying to find a deal for Bobby Ryan. How are we going to make this work? Because any team that wants him, actually, well, the Islanders? No, see, they're looking to move prospects. Any team that wants him is a contender. So obviously, but that's weird. No, it doesn't make sense. Any team that wants him is a contender, so you'd think they'd be moving draft picks. So Philly might work. But yeah, so a contender's looking to move prospects rather than a half-decent player that might actually have some cap. Oh my God. I don't know where to trade him. I don't know. It needs to be a team that is looking to move their picks and that wants him, though. So maybe Philly works. Maybe Philly does work. So let me see here. Who do you have? Preferably a forward who's making a little bit of money. Granlund. Benoit Pouliot would be perfect as far as that depth option. That's not enough money, though. I don't know, man. I don't know where to trade him. This is so rough. I never thought trading Bobby Ryan would be easy, but, you know, it's also proving to be quite difficult just to find that perfect match. So let's see, in terms of money, I could take on Casey Cizikas for the rest of the year. Do you want to move your draft picks? You do. Okay, so that's where we start. You get a little bit of a better player in Bobby Ryan. Now, as far as a prospect or so goes, I mean, at this point, if anyone's like, don't try to keep it realistic. Trust me, at this point, I'm not trying. I'm not. I'm just looking to make a deal. To be honest, again, as I drop the controller, everything's falling apart. As I drop the controller. Great. Ty Smith might be the guy to go for here. Now, obviously, that's not going to go through, right? But I can attempt to make it worth their while. And whether or not I'm able to pull that off, well, we're about to find out. So again, we have Peyton Krebs as one of the big acquisitions. Albrecht can stay. Waite can stay. Is there anybody else that was worth throwing in there? I don't really think that there was. So I could go in the draft pick since we farmed a little bit and try to make something happen. Since we know Winnipeg's probably going to be a good team. So you take on Bobby Ryan for the next 2 years. You get a better player than Cizikas. You get a second-round pick back, but I get a former first-round pick in Ty Smith. Will that go through? Yes, it will, and I'll take it. Just to get it over and done with. The value, you know, it could have worked out a little bit differently, but I will gladly take it. So there we go. Bobby Ryan has been dealt. We have Cizikas now as a healthy scratch on offense. We have Wolanin as the healthy scratch on defense. We still need to figure out who the hell the backup goalie is going to be and then make a move there. And let me double check the AHL because we still need a couple of moves there if I'm not mistaken. So we'll go best lines. We'll take out Selleck and we'll put in Alcock. He needs to play. We'll take out Ethan Werrick and we're good. So, Flanagan and Werrick, we need to sign 2 more forwards for the AHL in terms of defensive depth as well. We have Tychonik there. Smith is actually an AHL player this year. So, Tychonik or Leopold. Leopold's a 67 at low elite. That's a little bit of an issue. To be honest, I just acquired Shea, so I might have to get rid of him. Not that I want to. Shea could be a healthy scratch, though, as a forward. How much better is he going to be? Because I really need to play Leopold this year. So Stillman, you know what? Shea's going to have to be a healthy scratch. at the NHL level. He's going to have to be. So it'll be him and Wolanin. Here, and really quickly, I'm going to go to goaltenders, and I'll send down Shesterkin for the moment. So again, healthy scratches, Shea and Wolanin. So that's at least until I can trade Shea later on, simply because he is a bit too expensive. So again, we go here. Actually, we know we need 2 more forwards. So 2 more forwards, and defensively we take out Murray and bring in Tychonik. And then goaltenders, I need a backup goaltender. Right. So I have a couple of roster spots. Let me go sign who I need. And then, like I said, the last trade to be made will be whatever goaltender we're probably going to get rid of, which we might be able to package him with the draft pick to go out and get somebody great. So that's the plan for the moment. So I need someone who is worse than Tomek, who might actually... Ian Scott would be great. In terms of, potential overall and age, Ian Scott could be great. Why Toronto let go of him? I do not know. Even as a fringe, he's looking all right. That's the guy. It would be an entry-level deal, but I'm fine with that because Tomek might end up being too good next season for the AHL anyway. So Ian Scott's perfect. In terms of defensive depth, we have Murray there in the AHL, but I'm thinking one more guy would be a strong addition to the team since Shea cannot be there. So again, we have Murray. I need one other defensive depth guy here. Who do we like? We have Matt Benning, Ruido, Gravel, Ledoux. Like for them to not be that good. Again, just a depth guy in case of injuries, since we have injuries on in the series. Xavier Bernard. Holy shit. 76 overall, 20 years old. He's a medium 7th. I will sign him up. Why not? Entry-level deal, but let's do it. And then that should be good. I'm thinking 2 depth guys in the AHL should be good. Maybe I'll sign one more. Maybe. Possibly. Is there anybody else here? Jake Bischoff, Ganley, Dahlbeck. There's got to be one more, right? Because forward depth, I don't really need them. I just need 2 more signings that are better than Selleck and Werrick. Oh, who do I like here? Walcott? I don't really know. Trenton Bork? Justin Hall, Fakovsky, Kevin Ekman-Larson. Quinville's picture is amazing. I will never not laugh at that. I'm sorry. That is my favorite picture in the game. It really is. It really is. It just gets me every time. I could give Brooks Orpik a job in the... You know what? I will. Let's give Brooks Orpik a job in the AHL as a depth option. And I am actually going to go out and sign one more goaltender. Just in case. Although, 2, 3... Nope, yeah, we'd be fine. I'm good to sign one more guy. Niilo Hallinen works. Let's do it. So we'll sign Niilo Hallinen as well. Just to get the AHL depth sorted out. So we'll have the extra goaltenders. We have the defensive depth. I need 2 more good forwards, and we already have depth in terms of AHL forwards. Boy, setting up a team at this stage. So let's see. We'll just go off of overall. Who do we want to save from the life of not being employed? I like Jordan Wheel. And, fast. Yeah, you know what? He's good. He's good. Let's sign Jordan Wheel for this season. And one other guy. Connor Brickley. Is that Judd Peterson? Judd Peterson. What a name. Seth Griffith, though, is good in terms of a scoring threat at the AHL level. With that, we should be fine. I should have the contract spots to sign everybody. Scouting, it's still being handled by the game itself. Because who really cares? Other than that, just setting... You know what? Maybe I'll handle it. The reason, of course, why I don't handle it myself is because, how many times you can scout a region, you can scout someone 50 plus times and still not get accurate information on them. So you know what? Never mind. I tried to talk myself into it and I'm like, no, never mind. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So it's fine. Let's see what we can get here. So let me sim towards our first preseason game. Scott has accepted. Griffith, Orpik, Wheel, and Bernard Hallinen as well. Beautiful. So we have all the depth we need. The big question now is who makes this team in terms of a backup goaltender. We are going with our NHL lines through this entire preseason. The question is, Who will it be? As those three healthy scratch, the other question is Skinner or Gustafsson. Skinner will get the starting opportunity to make it happen. So let's see what he can do since we don't have to set up the AHL lines. And then I don't know, maybe I'll handle scouting on my own one of these days. I don't know. So 3 games for one, 3 games for the other, and then the 7th game will go. So the Detroit game will go to the other one. So let's sim these first 3. A 6-0 win, a 5-1 win, and a 4-2 win. Now again, we are playing other teams' kind of preseason rosters, but still, Borgstrom's killing it. What's that goaltending situation looking like? That is the question. Skinner with a .970 through 3 games. Philip, it's been real, but I think you're gone. Just an assumption. Maybe he'll survive somehow. Maybe. It could happen, right, Philip? And you let up 6 goals to Boston. All right, well, we have our answer. Stuart Skinner is going to be our backup goaltender this year because, oh my God, did he just play lights out, whereas Gustafsson didn't really do that. Now, did he? Borgstrom also had 9 points in those 6 preseason games. Keep up that pace, buddy. I'd be incredibly happy. Yeah, apparently only 1 game played. To be honest, I mean, I think what happened is that it went auto-rotate goalie, but still in his 1 appearance, it was god-awful. I'm trading Gustafsson. Just flat out, I'm trading Gustafsson. He's the right guy to get rid of anyway, with him being a year older. Stuart Skinner's the guy. So let's change that around. Let's set up the NHL lines again. All I have to do is go over to here and make Igor Shesterkin the starter. And then down in the AHL, actually, let's go best lines for the moment. Take out Gustafsson. Bring on Ian Scott. Again, Hallinen's the 5th goaltender if needed. The goaltending tandem should be amazing for us this season. We'll take out Brooks Orpik for Leopold, and we'll take out Bernard for Tychonik. In terms of who gets that top time, we're going to go with Stillman and Smith. Lajoie with Sandin. And Leopold with Tychonik. And then at forward, again, take out Selleck. Let's go for Alcock there, and I think Lauko's the only other guy that needs a spot, right? Indeed it is. And we'll bring in Lauko. I'll set that up, the rest of it off screen, because who cares? I just need to make sure that the right talent is there. And then again, the NHL side of things, we're looking pretty damn good. Whether or not we're a playoff team this year, I'd say it really depends on whether or not Shesterkin can find his game. Last year he was okay, I guess, but if he can put up league average numbers, we might have an outside chance. So again, the last thing we need to do here is go to Gustafsson, and let's see if we can find a team where it makes sense. Preferably, again, a Western Conference team. So Anaheim does make sense. I imagine the trade blocks are all going to be the same, but screw it, I'm going to look one more time. Nobody on Chicago, Colorado with Wells. They figured out pretty quickly that he wasn't a very good prospect. Too little, too late. I'm thinking Anaheim makes sense. They're looking like the team to go to. Especially, again, if I don't want to go for Grant Mishmash. Although Brook and Tessier are looking okay. But, well, more Brook is looking pretty good. But I don't want to complicate that defensive situation. Afinoganov, 70 overall at 20 years old. Andrei Afinoganov. Again, though, not ideal. I think Anaheim's the team. Brent Burns is on the block. Still Dominic Bach. Yeah, this is all the same. So, the Anaheim Ducks. Who would you like to get rid of? Preferably Ribeiro. I don't think he's the best prospect, but he has the most value. They would have too many goaltenders. Of course they would. Who needs goaltending help then? You have 5, so you could take 1 more. You need a better backup anyway over Anderson. They actually signed Craig Anderson. Like, what's the matter with them? What is the matter? Oh my God. Trying to find this deal is going to be something. Calgary. Do you need goaltending help? Screw it. We'll do it this way. You don't need any goaltending help. What about Chicago? You couldn't afford it. Colorado couldn't afford it. Dallas. Do you need goaltending help? You have too many already, and you really need to get rid of Ben Bishop. Edmonton, Ed Money, I've bailed you out before. You do have Sandstrom, who's not a backup, so you could use an extra guy. How would you like to give me a second-round pick? You would? Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. I'd prefer your first-round pick, though. That won't go through, but that's okay, because I have extra picks to try and make this work. So how would you like the Vancouver third-round pick? You wouldn't. Okay, that's not enough. That's fine. How would you like the Vancouver second-round pick, but I take out the third-round pick because you see value? I'll take it. There we go. So we use Gustafsson and the Vancouver second to get Edmonton's first-round pick. Will that pay off? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell, but I'm thinking that the roster here is good to go. The one thing that I wanted to check quickly, captaincies, Borgstrom, Stone, and Carlson. You see, Borgstrom, I think we're going to have to take that away from you and give it to Zach Smith. I think that's the one that makes sense. So Carlson still the captain leading the way. Stone and Smith, that makes sense. Down in the AHL, it doesn't really matter, but screw it. We're already here. We got time. I got time. You got time because you're watching this. So let's do this. Bowers, Gersich, and Bastian. I mean, first of all, he's been on this team for years. Lajoie needs a letter. I don't know if it's going to be the captain, but he needs one. Gersich, I'm sorry, you're not going to be the captain. Bowers can be an alternate though. Formenton, Selleck, Kravtsov, Bastian. I think we're going to go, you know what? Yeah, let's actually do that. Let's go Lajoie as the captain with Riley Stillman, who's been on this team for a while as well, as an alternate with Shane Bowers. Perfect. And with that, unless I am forgetting anything, again, scouting I'm not going to worry about. I mean, all I'd do is just, okay, WHL for 6 weeks, and then even then I'd scout somebody 12 times and still not get accurate information. So you understand why I'm a little bit about it, especially when I have the ability to trade. You know, if it's Draft to Glory, then yeah, whatever, especially if I can only, even then in Draft to Glory, you know, it's like I'll scout someone out, 30 times and still not have an exact potential, and it'll be like, oh, they're high elite, and then they end up being low top 6, kind of like in this. So things happen. Anyway, at this point, I am rambling. I could clear out the trade block. Scouting's good. This team is set. What I'm mainly intrigued by now is what the overalls of this team happen to be. We're at a 94, 95, and an 87, which isn't all that surprising. High offense, highly rated offense, highly rated defense. I'm excited to see what this team could do. Did I think this entire episode would be off-season, preseason prep? No, I didn't. But it happened that way, and that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, as we're going to be playing Winnipeg to start the season. You know what? Screw it. You stuck around this long. Let's sim the first month. Let's sim through October and see how this team does, as we will probably do terribly just to crush my hopes and dreams. That really wouldn't surprise me. I didn't change up the AHL forwards, but at least the talent that is supposed to be in the lineup happens to be in the lineup, so it could be worse. Speaking of it could be worse, our record. We still have one more game to sim here against Tampa, who also are looking absolutely ridiculous this season. But we will sim through that. Our record through the first month, as we lost in regulation, 8-3-1. Your Ottawa Senators turning it around fairly quickly. Belleville at 5-4-3. I'd like to see them make the playoffs this year. I'm not exactly holding my breath. Let's take a look at some of these early stats. So we have 17 points in 12 games. Tampa, though, is just killing it. But we're on a better pace than Toronto. And Henrik Borgstrom keeping up that preseason pace. Let's take a look here. So again, we have played how many games? 12. Fiala is sucking right now. 4 points in 12 games. Whereas Borgstrom has 14 points in 12. Stone at least has 9 points. So Stone's doing okay. Borgstrom's killing it. And Kevin Fiala not doing well. Tyson Jost has 9 points, 6 for Duchesne, and 4 for Colin White. So my first question, is that the change we make? Put Jost on the top line. What do you think? Third line, Gusev with 11 points, 4 for Logan Brown, 10 for Ronning. So finally, it took an extra season, but Gusev and Ronning are producing to the level that I thought they would. And on the fourth line, Paul, 2 points, a -1, 4 points, and a -3 for Smith, 4 points, and a -2 for Gagne, which is incredible given our record. Defensively, Shabbat, 4 points and a -4, 8 points and a -4 for Carlson. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Nothing for Dobson. He's a -3, 1 point and a -3 for Montour. Nothing and a +4, 3 points and a +5. So Foote and Timmins are working well together. We could mix up the top 6 a little bit. We could. Maybe we put Dobson or Montour with Erik Karlsson. Let me know what you think there as far as the line combos go. The big question, though, is do we have a little bit of faith in Kevin Fiala, or do we drop him for Tyson Jost? The goaltending, Shesterkin with a .926 through 12 appearances, 6 wins, 2 shutouts, and a .234 GAA. And the backup goaltender, I made the right call. Stuart Skinner, 3 appearances, 3 wins, a .936 percentage, and a .182 GAA. So far, so good. A couple of players getting out of the gates to a slow start. But overall, no complaints. The question is, how will this team do this season? We have made a boatload of changes. Will that lead to success this early? Well, we'll find out in the next episode as we look to sim through the rest of the season, hopefully, unless major changes are needed around the trade deadline. So for now, I thank you very much for watching. I know this episode might have been slower paced, and I apologize if that's not your thing, but hey, it's the way I do these videos, man. I'm sorry. It's the way we do them around here. Long form. It's like reading. This isn't no limerick. We're here for the long haul. This is, I'm gonna stop making comparisons to books. Thank you for the support. I do appreciate it. As of late, the support on the channel and the videos in general have been tremendous. So I thank you for that. Looking forward to continuing the NHL grind. Obviously we have 3 franchise mode series going on at this point in time. Anyway, enough rambling. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Can't wait to hear how I screwed up in the comments. No, I enjoy it. Seriously, it's fine. I'll see you guys next time.